Something impossible. It just happened. An ape spoke. Not a sound, not mimicry, but a clear human sentence. Within hours, more followed. Across the world, they started talking, and suddenly, humans were no longer the only voice on Earth. Human language has always been the line, the one ability that separates humans from every other species on Earth. Not strength, not speed, not survival, but the ability to describe thoughts, to share ideas, and to build meaning through words. If apes suddenly began speaking like humans, that line disappears. Not gradually, but instantly, and the consequences would begin immediately. Scientifically, this would not be a simple change. For apes to speak, multiple biological systems must evolve together. Their brain structure, their vocal anatomy, and their neural coordination. Each of these currently limits their ability to produce language. Even a small weakness in one system prevents full speech. So, for all of them to change at once would challenge everything biology understands. Apes already possess advanced intelligence. Chimpanzees and bonobos can solve problems, use tools, plan actions, and even show emotional awareness. They can recognize themselves in mirrors. They can remember past events. They can learn patterns and signals, but they cannot fully convert thought into structured speech. Their vocal anatomy is restricted. The position of the larynx and limited control of the tongue prevent the formation of complex sounds. Human speech depends on precise timing, breath, vibration, muscle control, all working together in milliseconds. Apes lack this level of coordination. So if apes suddenly begin speaking, it implies a simultaneous transformation, a shift in both minds and body. This could be caused by mutation, genetic modification, or an unknown neurological trigger. Whatever the cause, it would be one of the most significant biological events in history. The moment this happens, science faces a fundamental problem, because intelligence is no longer uniquely human. Apes would demonstrate higher cognitive awareness. They would describe thoughts, emotions, memories, and experiences. They could explain how they see humans, how they interpret captivity, how they experience fear or comfort. This would confirm something unsettling. That awareness has always existed, but without a voice. The educational system would shift rapidly. Biology, psychology, and linguistics would expand beyond humans. Language would no longer be considered a human exclusive trait. It becomes a shared ability. Apes could be taught and could respond. They could ask questions, challenge ideas, and express confusion. This changes the meaning of education. Teaching an ape would no longer be training. It becomes communication between two intelligent beings. Scientific classification would come under pressure. The boundary between human and non-human intelligence would narrow significantly. New definitions of personhood may emerge, not based on species, but on awareness and communication. From a legal perspective, the disruption becomes immediate. If apes can speak, they can testify. They can describe treatment and express suffering. They can recall events. They can identify individuals. They can make accusations. Zoos would be questioned, and enclosure becomes confinement, not of animal, but of speaking individuals. Animal testing would face extreme pressure, because subjects can now describe pain, fear, and resistance. Legal systems would struggle to respond. Are apes property or individuals? Do they have rights? or are they still under human control? Different countries would react differently. Some may grant limited rights. Others may resist to protect economic and research systems. The economic impact would follow quickly. Industries connected to animals would be forced to adapt. Research, tourism, entertainment, and conservation programs. The psychological effect on humans would be immediate. When a non-human speaks, distance disappears. Empathy increases, but so does discomfort. Humans would begin to question past behavior, how animals were treated, and why those actions were accepted. Over time, some humans would go further, not just recognizing apes, but choosing to live with them. If apes can speak, they can form relationships, they can express trust, fear, and preference. This opens the possibility of adoption, not as pets, but as dependents or even as family members. Some individuals may choose to care for apes inside human environments, providing shelter, food, and communication. At first, this may appear compassionate, an attempt to repair past treatment. But equality is not simple. Even if apes can speak, they are not human. Their physical strength, their instinct, and their behavior remain different. A chimpanzee can be several times stronger than a human. A single moment of stress can become dangerous. So living together requires boundaries, not just empathy. Legal systems would struggle with this. Is adoption ownership or guardianship? Does the ape have full autonomy or shared decision-making? If treated equally, can an ape refuse care? Can it choose where to live? These questions have no clear answer. In some societies, apes may be granted partial human-like status, access to protection, education, and limited rights. In others, they may remain controlled, but under stricter welfare laws. True equality would be difficult to achieve, because equality requires shared responsibility, not just shared rights. Apes may communicate, but their understanding of human systems may remain limited. This creates an imbalance where humans must decide how much freedom is safe. Emotionally, some humans would form deep bonds, seeing apes not as animals but as individuals. This could increase compassion, reduce isolation, and change how humans define family. But it could also create tension between those who accept apes as equals and those who reject the idea entirely. Society would divide not just over rights, but over identity. Geopolitically, regions with large ape populations would gain attention. Central Africa and Southeast Asia, governments may attempt control or protection. Apes become part of global strategy. They could provide insight into ecosystems, describing environmental changes and patterns and threats. This could improve conservation or lead to exploitation, depending on human decisions. Religious perspectives would also be challenged. Human uniqueness would be questioned. Some belief systems may adapt, expanding moral consideration. Others may resist or reinterpret meaning. From a health perspective, new possibilities emerge. Apes could describe symptoms and reactions to illness. never alone in thought.
I'll be back.